United States created a scholarship program for people like me. So as many as maybe 30, 40,000 people got our education in the United States and then went back to Mexico. So I did my master's and my PhD in American universities, sponsored by this program done by the US government. The condition was for us to go back, which I did. I stayed in Mexico for 30, what was that, 36 years. After those 36 years, I was invited to come to Canada, and then I came to Canada. So I stayed here, and that's my story. But the thing is, when I was getting my PhD, our chairperson, he said, you have no choice but to use this thing called the internet. And this thing called internet marketing. And then I said, what is that? So that's how I ended up doing digital marketing for my doctoral dissertation. I just wanted to do ethics in marketing. I wanted to work with that. I ended up doing not ethics, consumer behavior, and then I run an experiment with a website trying to see if translating utility information in a concept that ironically I'm going to touch up on that again, which is knowledge machines, was a substitute for advertising. So the question that I was trying to research was, can we use the internet as a proxy of traditional advertising? And I sort of created a case in favor of that, following a traditional theory in marketing, which is the collaboration likelihood process, which means that people think before they act or not. I mean, elaboration meaning too much thinking, little thinking, high involvement, low involvement. So it's traditional mindsets of consumers who spend time processing or not. We
Right.
normally, as we know from the theory in consumer behavior, we just want to cut corners when we are, buying something. If I know the product, if somebody tells me that it's good, if I see and like the advertising, that's okay. So what I did is I used the internet as a knowledge machine to add insight to consumers on that. And that nowadays, what it is called content marketing. But that was back in 2003, and that gave me the idea of doing this. And ever since, I've been teaching digital marketing like all the time. I'm also the course lead of digital marketing, and now, we are facing this challenge of doing that. But again, I'm talking too much. I guess if you just allow me to run this presentation a little bit
Yes, sir.
and
Yes, sir.
do the sound check for the videos, and then we
Yes, sir.
shall be ready. Will you tell me? And I'm gonna let Professor Tawari to graciously introduce me to the class, and then
Sure,
to
sir.
our fellow faculty.
We Yes, sir. We will start, sir, at 11.
But I'm
Meanwhile, we
just gonna
can. Meanwhile, we
do that.
can.
I'm gonna excuse myself for a few minutes, okay?
Sure, sure. Ankur, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, well, उनकी presentation, we have to ask him to play the presentation so that the videos and everything can be run properly in that way.
Okay. So we'll just
So that's
do the just
because during the presentation, if there is some technical issues, then we'll not be able to address it in that.
there exactly.
Though, because we have got the presentation only, we do not have the videos and what he is talking about for sharing and all.
I request Professor Trevino.
He is
Hello.
away for a minute.
Okay.
He's away for.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
you
So
were saying?
just you can just do
Yes.
this trial for this if it's working or not, and then at 11 we'll start.
Yes, at 11 we will start, sir. So we
Okay.
have 10 to 15 minutes.
Let me just again make sure that the this
Yeah.
thing is working properly.
Yes, yes.
Just need
Yes,
to see
sir.
if you can see my screen, and I'm gonna scroll and move to the
It
next
is
page.
visible.
Can you see the word agenda?
It's not scrolling, sir.
Okay, that's the what I need to fix this. Okay, just give me 1 second.
Yes, yes.
Sir, we can put it on the presentation mode.
Yes, that
Then it,
that should do it.
yeah, then it will be visible to us. clearly.
So meanwhile, I request all the participants, we'll start at 11. So today we'll be having a wonderful session by Professor Trevno. So we'll just wait for some time. Thank you.
So right now, okay.
Yes.
So is this not the presentation visible full screen?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now it
Okay.
is visible.
Now I'm gonna
Yeah.
do just a quick
Yes,
and fast.
it's being installed. Yeah. It is
Hmm.
I'm gonna do a quick and fast check of a video that I want to show.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All the links which you are presenting, sir, let us check all these links, whether it is working or not.
Okay, sounds good.
So sound setting we need to do. We are not able to hear it actually.
Okay. We'll try again one more time.
Yeah.
Thank you for your patience. Okay, let me then one more time try. Give me just 1 minute. I'm gonna try and see why this. The problem is once that I get into, unless you tell me how to fix this situation, when I try to share. Okay, one more time. So I'm gonna present. I'm gonna use the.
So if you want, and something we can run here from here as well, if you want.
You can run the presentation there. Can you help me with that?
Yeah. If you want, then we can run from
Okay,
here.
let's do that because I don't think that I'm gonna be able to do this thing. Can you please can you please go let me tell you where go to slide number
I'm just
21.
I'm just telling to you
I'm
by
sorry, no, it's not
right.
it's not 21. It's actually slide 24. Are you watching? Can you see my screen right now?
So
No, the
your
screen is
screen is
not
not
visible, sir.
Okay, so okay, see if you have Anchor access to my presentation, please open it and go straight to slide number 24, and then you are going to find. Let me just cancel this. A link to a video
uh,
there.
so I'm just going to tell you the concerned person. He will just going to just open this. Just give me 1 second.
Okay.
Uh, Give me 1 minute. The person is going to just open it.
Okay. Anchor, can you see this? Can you see now my screen?
Yeah, it's visible, sir.
Okay. I guess this will do. Okay, this will be
Yeah, scrolling is
sufficient
also.
for me to do it.
वीडियो का इशू आ रहा है, वीडियो में साउंड नहीं आ रहा
So,
था, तो वो साउंड सिलेक्शन करते हैं ना अपन, जो जाके शेयरिंग होती है जो साउंड, वो
Hello.
कैसे होती है सेटिंग में उनके, हाँ वो
I'm,
नहीं होता।
I'm just gonna go again and make sure that when I share, I will share with sound, and that should do it. Okay, and then we
Yes,
should
sir.
be ready to start in maybe 5 minutes or so. I guess that should take care of the problem. I'm going to stop presenting, and then when I present again, I'm going to select the tab and sound, and by doing that, I should be okay. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that is good, sir.
Okay, so yes, that should do it. Okay,
Yeah.
so now I'm
So,
ready. Whenever you're ready, I am.
so at 11 we'll start. So Professor Ambar
Okay,
will
in
just
about
take
four
the topic.
minutes.
Yeah, yeah. Please wait for 5 minutes.
Now it is working. Video sound is available, sir.
I guess it is. Yeah, everything's fine on my end. Yeah, because when I shared the screen, I made sure to click on the on the sound option. So
Yes.
that should do it. Okay.
Yeah.
And again, I am interested in having you look at these videos because we're gonna go through a lot of material in very little time on your own. So I'm gonna ask you then to please share the presentation with anyone. And well, we start, and then I let Professor Tiwari, Dr. Tiwari, to introduce me. One thing that I wanted to do is that we are creating something we call the Artificial Intelligence Research Collaborative in my university. And we're going to be putting together projects for research. And some of the models that I'm going to present are going to be, considered for empirical validation and academic inquiry. So what we want to do is we want to create know-how on pedagogy, but also cases and also tools. So I will explain that as I go through this thing. Much of what I'm doing here in my presentation is related to the kind of things that I'm doing. I'm in charge of that committee. The department chair commissioned me to do it. And right now there's 10 faculty members who are interested in doing this transition, okay? So
Great.
that's a little commercial. I will let Dr. Rastegui know about this, and in case there's anyone here interested in collaborating with us, that would be a good opportunity for us to do interesting development of. I would say we do not want to study much AI student or consumer attitudes. I believe that topic has been exhausted. What we want to do is we want to hit on pedagogies and particular tools and how to apply them in the classroom. So the research would be more oriented towards that end. But anyway,
Right.
that's it. I guess we're about a minute from starting.
Yes, sir. So we'll wait for 2
So
minutes.
I'm here,
And,
and
yeah, Professor Tiwari is.
Yes.
So we will
Some
wait for
more,
2 minutes, sir. 2 minutes.
yeah, some more participants are supposed to join, sir. Almost 200 plus participants are there. So we are waiting to join this. All the participants, most of the participants will join on time. And this number will go up very soon.
what great news! Fantastic. That's very successful. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So, very good morning to all of you. Today we are having the session on the students' experience, and we have the distinguished professor, Dr. Salvador Trevino, for discussing this particular topic amongst us. So I would like to welcome on behalf of Avantika University and the participants of this particular FDP. Welcome to Dr. Salvador Trevino. I would like to take this privilege to introduce him to the august gathering here. Dr. Salvador Trevino is distinguished academician with a global perspective on business education and marketing, with a PhD in business administration from University of Memphis, and experience spanning North America, Latin America, and Europe. Dr. Trevino brings a wealth of knowledge to his field. His research interests are at the cutting edge of modern business, focusing on consumer education in digital environment, specifically sales and service in the digital realm and brand value in digital market. This expertise makes him particularly relevant in today's rapidly evolving business landscape. Dr. Trevino's career is marked by numerous accolades, including multiple Best Professor Awards and recognition as a distinguished executive education leader. His work has been published in respected journals and presented at international conferences, contributing significantly to the field of marketing, business education, and sustainable business practices. As a visiting scholar at institutions across the globe, from Ecuador to France, Dr. Trevino has cultivated a truly international outlook on business education. This global experience enriches his perspective and makes him a valuable voice in discussions on cross-cultural business practices and educational models. Dr. Salvador, an esteemed expert in business education and digital marketing, brings his wealth of international experience to address a timely and crucial topic: AI tools for enhancing students' productivity. With his extensive background in consumer education in digital environment and his focus on
that into student skills. Okay, so think of it as a trickle down process in which we organize the course, thinking what is it that it's going to do, giving students skills for the future. And then we're going to move into the elements of that. And we're going to start with the lowest level, which is the knowledge level, knowledge that we know, and how do we work AI and knowledge machines. And I'm going to present a few cases of how these companies are actually helping the education with that. Then we're going to go into the mid-level of the Bloom taxonomy and talk about one very particular pedagogical active learning, which is very much how students learn. And then finally, at the end, the Bloom taxonomy talks about innovation, which is where generative AI plays a very interesting role in this thing. I have examples for each and every one of these instances. Then we're going to move into the systemic approach to AI in education, how to create added value. This is probably the most important aspect. I'm not trying to diminish the importance of this, but this here, it sort of tackles the elements that we're discussing nowadays in the so-called academic agenda in terms of artificial intelligence. The Here I also tackle some of the ethical things. Then, um, well, people say that this software eventually is going to replace human beings, and if that is the case, we're going to be left only as people asking questions to some intelligent computer, and that is not the case. That is not the case. What I want to do is I want to go beyond that and propose a model that actually help us collaborate with the computer rather than using for that. What it means is we need to go back to core concepts in education that we normally give for granted that are extremely important in this case. All of these, think of them as potential, all of them are potential research topics, okay? Think of each and every one of these as potential research topics. So after the presentation, think about possibilities for you to say, hey, let's do that. So right away, let's just start with the purpose and aims of college education. I want to start here because obviously this is essentially what we do with the students. Okay, so in Canada, there's a reason why we call college education post-secondary. There's a reason, okay, and the reason has to do with the aim, the elevated aim of college education, university education, sometimes graduate education. For that, anything going beyond high school. Okay, so the post-secondary means advanced, which means that it's abstract, it's challenging, it's dynamic, it's multidiscipline, and it is related to what John Dewey, one thinker in the United States, would refer to as a Renaissance person. The Renaissance person is a person who knows a little bit of everything and is capable of operating in different environments. So what we do then is we are the foundation education in two major things. So the business, I call it like that, the business of transferring knowledge and skills. So that's what we do. And then second, society gives the faculty members a very great responsibility, which is to assess the merit of the student, the merit of the learner. So transferring knowledge and skills and assessing or measuring the merit of the learner through grade granting is what we do. Now, in addition to transferring knowledge and assessing, judging students and giving them a mark, we also provide meaningful feedback. Now, the difference between assessing and providing feedback is that the assessment is just some standardized measurement of the specific merit of the student, while feedback is a more profound way of conversating with the student, creating interaction and reflection. So the assessment only measures knowledge. The feedback implies reflection and Socratic dialogue. Okay. Now, it's not that easy for us to do that when we have big sections or students who are not motivated. But eventually, what we want is we want people to think about the items, about the concept that they're learning, and that thinking, purposeful thinking, creates reflection, analysis, ethical considerations, and obviously the ability for you to look at this information from a different way, creating hence innovative solutions for society. So that is a very important thing. But on top of everything else, on top of the fact that we transfer knowledge and skills and we measure and provide feedback, there's something else. The education also creates psychological impacts on students. It changes their beliefs, their values, allows them to judge and to understand and be motivated towards the phenomena of the world, and finally gives them some social standing. So there's a lot of benefits, psychologically speaking, in addition to what we do in terms of our business of transfer skills and measure them in education. Okay, so with all this together, the objectives of education is the transformation of individuals and, by extension, society. And this is when we should start approaching AI with the last item. The ultimate goal of AI is the same. It's the transformation of people and by extension of society. It's a major disruptive change in our way of thinking. So the business of AI is essentially the business of education. It's just taking to a whole new level. Okay, so that is what we want to do. I wanted to start then with these reflections because we no longer think much about it, but this is what we do. We educators, our business is transferring knowledge and skills and measuring, providing feedback, and as a summary, creating this mindset in the student that would make them better persons, and for that, better societies. By extension, better societies. So, um, what happens with AI? What happens with AI? Well, let us just remember: we transfer knowledge, we assess the knowledge, we provide feedback, we create uh, positive mindsets in students and improve society. Well, I got news for you. Okay, I got news for you. AI came as a disruptive, force in education. A quick and dirty feature review of the most common AI tools. Anyone. ChatGPT. I will do demonstrations today, this morning. I will do plenty of demonstrations of each and every one of them. But say for a moment, the most typical ones. These three are like 80% of common use of that because they do appear as part of the part of the thing. If I open this tab here, well, you don't see the tab, but if you open the tab, you see pilot right next to the search. Okay, so I'm going to make a distinction between how a website, for instance, has automation elements like things that you change in the setting, and now it has the added feature of AI as a software embedded in the web page, which is an amazing change. Okay, so anyway, think about ChatGPT, character AI, or Gemini. Um, uh, any one of these things starkly reveals the truth. These tools are very close to perfect process to the two processes above. I repeat, these tools are very close to be perfect process for the two processes above: knowledge transfer and assessment. What? Yeah, I am going to show you how ChatGPT assess one of my papers. Okay. Now, am I happy with that? uh, oh, okay. No, I'm not happy. I'm not happy. But then again, I know that I can do it. Okay. Now, I know that students can put together papers, and I know that I can mark those papers using this. So, how are we going to go around this process of, nullifying each other back, which is the big fear of my boss. She keeps telling us what is going to happen when we have students producing essays and we ask the computers to mark them. What is going to happen? So that's uh, that's one one main issue. Okay, let's just for a moment put it aside because we believe that we are thinking in current thought levels. Okay, and we need to change the way we understand this thing. We need to change our mindset to do this thing. So at this moment, I propose a question, and the question is the end of the knowledge transfer and the skill assessment educational approach? Is this the end of it? Is this us not meeting with students, telling them, "Hey, I'm an accounting professor. I'm going to teach you this concept called the break-even point analysis." Okay, so this is a formula, and then you choose to do some sort of estimation of the value of a product at a given level of inventory with three variables, which are variable cost, fixed cost, and the price. And then I set this point called break even. And nowadays it's just well, everything can be practically done by AI on its own. Okay, and creating the whole thing. So how are we going to deal with the whole notion? Well, maybe the knowledge assessment educational approach that I'm referring to here, it has to be reassessed. It has to be reassessed. And the news, my dear colleagues, is that we don't necessarily know how. So we are going to have to figure out while we adopt the tools. So what is then the AI role of education? Is it disruption? I would pose this question too. And I would say, no, I don't think so. I don't think that is just to surprise us and to attack us and to this thing. No, the AI role of education is to elevate education, is to allow us to do different things. So another question, what can we expect from this technological shift? What can we expect? Let me anticipate, something that I will be telling you at the end of my presentation that has to do with one of the conclusions. Maybe we are going to be now seriously tackling the important problems in society, like disease, like war, like pollution, like very big problems. Let me be a tad cynical and say, what do I teach as a marketing professor? I teach people how to sell, soda pop or blue jeans or Snickers or toothpaste. I mean, that's too menial. That's too basic. That's not enough of a challenge for commercial ecosystem that requires more value and satisfaction, utility, and hedonic value by consumers. Consumers also want pleasure, not only utility value. So how are we going to improve those things? In marketing, in digital marketing, we call that customer experience. How are we going to increase customer experiences? Okay, for that. But with all this, we can then say that there's AI. There's like three fears. Okay, three things people fear about AI that eventually are related to education. Okay, so we're gonna try and tackle each and every one of them on occasion in the rest of my presentation. But in the meantime, we can recognize easily three. Okay, the threat of replacement, and let me say the threat that AI is gonna take over my job, and I am going to be substituted by AI. So it's going to replace me, if you may. So, say a pilot, an airplane pilot. I mean, nowadays, automation systems, let alone AI, automation systems do pretty much 98% of the flight of a jetliner. Okay, you still need a pilot on the cockpit, but the pilot on the cockpit pretty much pushes a button and then supervises, and then every now and then probably would take the helm, just to make sure that everything is checking for any unnecessary things. But 98% of the flight is automated, including the takeoff and the landing. So, which are the most important things, if you may, in terms of skill. So, but you still need the person on the back. You will say, yeah. But then again, with AI, well, you're going to have a computer thinking the way the pilot would do. Oh, here's some clouds in front of us. I mean, there might be choppiness, or here's this storm coming to the left. So, I mean, the AI is going to be doing part of the reasoning of judgmental and subjective information. So yeah, there's this replacement threat. The other one is the fact that AI is going to lie to us, okay? And it's predicated on the fact that AI takes whatever is available on the web, okay? And information on the web might be fake, might be misleading, might be incomplete, might be unfounded, okay? So AI doesn't discern between what it is legitimate and what it is illegitimate information. So that is a major thing that requires us to make sure that, again, what we're doing is that in my exercise, you see how we have a very serious problem of misinformation proposed by this, and I am going to try and do this thing. And then there's the dishonesty threat, okay, which is the one that worries much faculty members in universities. Why? Because okay, here's the big discussion. There's like two schools of thought, okay, and this is my university here in Canada. So there's like 144 professors. All of us are discussing this because we are on day-to-day basis facing these challenges. And one of the professors says we should penalize and fail the student who uses and does not report AI on a paper or a project, whatever. Okay, and all the faculty members will say, why? I mean, why do we penalize a person who is nothing doing what we did? Okay, when we were people like them, we had calculators and computers. Okay, and no professor would say, oh, you're using a calculator to cut down onto your calculations or whatever. They're no longer using one of those rules or things that they use in engineering for that. Yeah, there's always been the controversy of technology adoption. But then again, this is a very interesting metaphor done by one of my colleagues who said, Salvador, with AI, what we have is a set of directions that we give, and those directions have to be smart, have to be intelligent. Okay, so there's intellectual work on the way in which you pose AI a question or a query, and he said, what comes with that? It's a result. And let me give you one analogy, okay? And he said, say for a moment that you're writing code, okay? You're writing a code, and say you're writing some computer program to do like a payroll system for a company or something, okay? So you do own the computer program that does the calculation of the payroll, okay? But you also own the information provided by the software. That's what Motion, my friend, says. He says you own the software and you own the products of the software. So technically, this is the way in which we validate what we do. We own the instructions we give to AI, and we also own any outcomes provided by these instructions that we give, even when they were not created by our thinking process. Okay, see how complex is this? It's kind of very complex. Okay, so this is why we haven't agreed on what to do yet. And it's not going to be an easy thing. There will always be ethical qualms about the way we do things. But the question is, okay, so what is it that I want to do? Let me get into the taxonomy of Bloom to maybe try and make a case in terms of what we're trying to do. Okay, so I leave you with this question. This question belongs to each and every one of us. Each and every one of us needs to come up with our own position. Okay, what is your position? I would say, my dear participant in this event, what is your position? You need to inform yourself, especially if you're a professor. What is your whatever your position is? You need to communicate this to your students very clearly, okay? And we're going to go back to some of these again when we talk about ethical things. So, what are we doing in my university? We're adopting the so-called ERT process. Okay, ERT process it means several things. Okay, so we are trying to say, hey, here's a professor. This person probably doesn't have much of a background in AI, let alone computer science or anything that is required to have a keen understanding of what happens inside of our software that produces AI, machine learning, data science, whatever. No. So any lay person, any traditional standard professor will has a challenge of doing this thing. So the ERD process it starts with the notion that the faculty members need to educate themselves in the tools of AI, need to humbly and modestly recognize the fact that we don't know, okay? That we don't know. So one of the things that we're doing with the this thing is every time we meet, we ask a professor. I'm going to show a few solutions to meet with us and present us an AI tool and what it is. Okay, and this professor has the responsibility of letting the other faculty members understand what is this for. Say something very conventional, okay? Well, or one of the things that we use for video, editing and things, and any one of these traditional ways of doing this thing, like Adobe with AI or something, and any sort of tool that could be used for that. Okay. Now, one of the things that we have come to realize is the fact that ChatGPT is by far the most important AI tool in the classroom. So here's the challenge: faculty members need to get as good as their students in ChatGPT, which means, and this is what I'm telling you, that you also have to strongly educate yourself in all things ChatGPT. You cannot afford not understanding ChatGPT if you're a traditional professor, irrespective of what is your position in terms of what you do, irrespective. Okay, so let me just remove this thing. So irrespective of whether you treat it as dishonesty or not, you need to be all expert in ChatGPT. Now, how do we do that? Well, let me just show you something that has to do with ChatGPT later in my presentation. Okay, so let us just continue with this thing. Okay, so for those who know it, well, please let me be a little explicit. For those who don't, this is the very famous taxonomy created by Edward Bloom of what is known traditional learning levels. Now, there are hundreds of interpretations of this model, hundreds. All you have to do is to Google that, and you will find hundreds. The one that I selected for this presentation is one that is specialized in online learning. The reason why I picked this one is essentially because we want to understand how to do this thing. So if you click on this thing, you'll be able to see how this thing applies to online learning, asynchronic, if you may, or video conferencing based, like right now what we're doing. Okay, and there are essentially 6 levels in the Bloom's taxonomy: the level of remembering knowledge, the level of understanding what you know, the level of applying what you understand that you know, creating rational and analysis, then coming up with evaluation, and at the end, coming up with your own point of view or your ideas. Okay, creation. So these are the 6 levels. Let me put it this way. This is the level of knowledge, the first two, level of knowledge. The second two are the level of learning. You learn and learn how to apply what you do. And then the third level is the level of, application of the knowledge. So let me give you one example. This is like a quiz. Okay. This is like a quiz. This is an exam. And this is the final project in a class. Okay. Just to give you an idea. This is like the term paper, the final project where you have to come up with a plan or something. This is essentially an exam, and these are quizzes or laboratory practices or reviews or class discussion forums, etc.
Sir,
Anything you
sir,
actually.
can you please zoom it a bit? Can you please zoom it a bit? Participants are not able to see. They are putting it in the chat box. If
Okay,
you can zoom this a bit, please, sir.
let me see if I can do it in my computer. Uh, okay. See, maybe it's the size of this thing, but there's a link here when you think, and you're gonna be able to find it. Let me for the purpose of time and something. Well, let me focus on this. These are explanations on that I already gave to you. But let me tell you how we are, suggesting that AI can be applied at these 3 major levels. Again, the level of knowledge, the level of learning, and the level of creation. So with the application level of knowledge, we have data and knowledge warehouses. In the mid-level, when we have the learning, we have the traditional, because it is traditional, way of fostering active learning, which is a very famous pedagogy that we use ever since we had hybrid systems with the pandemic and things like that. We always had the concern of having linear presentations with the students and the students not getting involved in that. So active learning became like a thing. There's a ton of software designed for that. Just going to show you one example. And then to come up with new stuff, with innovative stuff, then we have generative AI. Okay, so data knowledge warehouses, active learning with AI, and generative AI will be the 3 AI application levels based on the Bloom taxonomy. There's a few papers run on that. I'm writing a position paper for this. When I write a position paper, I'll be citing the literature. Okay, but there's quite a few papers already done on how to do this transition. Okay, so again, what we have, and let me do just a quick and dirty summary. So what we have is 3 levels of AI in the classroom: the level of knowledge acquisition, the level of learning how to apply the knowledge, and the level of how to innovate the knowledge that we have to know. We know how to apply, and by definition, also how to understanding, application, creation. Okay, so that's essentially what it is. So with these, what we have in mind is, let me start with the level of knowledge acquisition. The level of knowledge acquisition is based essentially on the notion of knowledge machines. And what are knowledge machines? Well, there's a whole body of literature on that. Let me come up with a definition. Okay, and the definition says web-based systems have highlighted the ways in which the human social environment can be used. One idea. Second idea, to support the development of intelligent systems, either by contributing to the provision of epistemic resources or by helping to shape the profile of machine learning. Okay, so in this paper cited here, these systems are knowledge machines. So let's try and make sense of that. what is epistemic resources? Epistemic resources are resources for knowledge generation. So intelligent system is provision or shaping the file of the machine learning. Okay. So knowledge machines, what they do is they tell you how to essentially manage the knowledge. And they're based all of these ideas on these two major concepts called human capital and a very famous work by Tom Davenport called knowledge management. So knowledge management and human capital eventually had to do with this. But the level that I'm dealing with it here, it's essentially systems software, if you may, that creates this epistemic resource by doing this thing. So it is not just data management, it's data science. It's data science. Okay. So let me start with the first example. The first example is a software called Document 360. And for this, I want you guys to remember that we have a Google Docs, huh? You know, Google Docs. You use the Google Docs on a common basis. Dropbox, remember that Dropbox is this software where you used to have the thing. Well, compare those with this. So, which is very powerful. Okay. So what is this? I'm just going to go to the very basic of this thing. Okay. It says here, self-service platform to build, share, and manage knowledge base, product documentation, manuals, SOPs, and wikis. Okay. So notice how the key the dashboard with this thing is just kind of crazy. Okay. It has all these possibilities for you to start organizing information. Okay, so what you have is all these elements here. These are the core products. Okay, with the portal, you essentially have this thing. You have all these elements for value. Then you have analytics, workflow, integrations, ticket deflectors, dashboards, search engine optimization, and then this is for industry, service and software, which is obviously extremely important for those who know service and software. It's essentially software to manage software. Okay, healthcare, education. Notice how these are huge economic sectors, okay, which are in need of improving the way they handle data and information. Okay, these are some of the clients, and this is a little demo. I'm gonna let you see and study this because I don't have too much time on your own. There's a little video there, but what it is super documentation capabilities based on all these elements. And it's just amazing what they can do, okay? It's just amazing. So again, compare what we do right now in Google Docs, which what we do is pretty much storage and a little classification. It's not even good, actually. It's just terrible. I mean, notice how you have your own files, done chaotically. All this stuff is going to be done by you, and it's going to create a common and overarching information system for the company. And these efficiency brought by AI is going to bring productivity to a whole new level in which companies are going to be do that. Now, if you allow me, what is this for? I would say to create know-how, and know-how it's essentially the new value of the company, the value of the company and its critical business processes. The critical business processes is what the company does that creates competitive advantage. Okay, so this is a great tool for that purpose. Okay, so again, at the very beginning,
sorry to interrupt you, sir. So when you click
yes.
the link, that the screen will not be visible to all of us. You
Yes,
have shown
it's
something
here.
through this link, so it was not
Oh,
visible
you
to
did
all.
not see what happened in this link? You did not
Yes,
see it?
yes.
Oh, did you see this? Sorry.
Yeah, this is your slide is there, but the click when you click this link, the other site will not be able to see.
Okay, so you did not see the okay.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
whatever then.
sorry. So,
Yeah.
okay, I'm sorry.
Now it's
Now,
visible.
now you can see it. Am I right?
Yeah, now it's visible.
Document 360.
Thank you. Yeah, sir, it's visible. Thank you, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's just that I'm getting used to this system. Okay, what I was discussing is this. This is the link. Thank you for helping me. Make the case. Okay, so
Yes.
this is amazing. I'm just going to scroll down a little bit. These are videos. I these are like mini white papers. I cannot show them to you because there's this thing. So let me please and say these are knowledge, knowledge warehouses. Okay, that's what they are. Okay, and maybe the pitch for that, what they offer, the claim is this. Okay, knowledge base for customers and teams to build, share, manage knowledge base, product documentation, manage SOP and wikis. So the purpose of time, let me just move to the next level, which is the learning level. Okay, and for that I have a super source called, let me, okay, am I talking to my PowerPoint?
Yes.
Can you
Yes, sir.
see? Thank you. Okay, so let's just go back very quickly to our model, and we're here in this middle part. Okay, we're here in this middle part, and let's just move into what is known as active learning. And what I did is I took very small big universities have these centers for teaching and learning. We have our own too in our university. Side as director of Genius, and sorry. Okay, so this active learning is also a very well-known pedagogy. It's a very well-known educational approach. So let me just provide a definition.